Okay, so it's Monday night, and Laura and I have found the spot we're going to crash in tonight. We're actually underneath a carport. I won't tell you where, but you can see we are undercover. I'm going to kind of show you what it looks like here. This little light you see is something that we were given today at the feeding. It actually blows up and is solar, and that's really cool. And you can see we basically have some plastic sheets down, and you know, we're just trying to keep our body out of the water that's on the ground here, because although we're not getting rained on, the pavement is wet from the water. So yeah, from the slope. And so this is where we're going to stay tonight, and kind of wanted to tell you some of the stuff that went on today. First of all, we met a gentleman, we'll just call him Bob. And Bob has a dog. His name is Duke, and I've known this guy since I went homeless. I see him out there all the time. And when we were down at Lake Eola about 11:30 today, or maybe noon, we saw Bob, and I took Laura over to meet Bob. And when we talked to him, I'm like, "Hey Bob, how are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh man, my head's really hurting. You know, my head is just like pounding in the back. It's been that way for 4 days. I think I'm going to go to the hospital." And we were like, "Oh, well man, you know, you need to get that taken care of." And I asked him, "What are you going to do with your dog?" And he said, "Well, I'm going to have a friend watch him, and I'm going to go to the hospital." Well, later on this evening, about, I don't know, 5 p.m. or so, we were at the library waiting for the feeding behind the library at St. George's Church. And while we were there, there's all of a sudden a fire truck, ambulance, all that stuff. And basically what Bob did, not his real name, was he took his dog back to his friend, and then he went to the library and had him call 911. Now, that's real expensive for us as taxpayers. He could have gotten into a clinic, and I'm not criticizing Bob. What I'm trying to say is that if we provided adequate medical services to these people, you know, as a community, we would not be paying for a fire truck, an ambulance, and a police officer. If he'd have been able to go somewhere by himself and get some reasonable medical care, that wouldn't have happened. So that's all I'm trying to point out to you. And what I'm going to do now is, when me and Laura got ready to make this video, I told her, you know, there's nothing I want you to say. I just want you to give your opinion. So I'm going to give her about a minute to do that now. Go ahead, Laura, whatever you want to tell them about today.
I'm in absolute shock. After just a couple hours of being out here, almost the full day, I'm beyond upset at the way everyone's treated. But you know what? There are so many people out here that are so positive and so happy throughout the circumstance. I was almost in tears earlier. I found out there was a 1-month-old and a 2-month-old baby out here with their mother, and that just absolutely rips my heart out that there aren't resources. And I'm sure there are resources, but they're getting full, and it's getting harder for them to access these resources. As we mentioned earlier, I've met now probably, at least interacted with, close to 100 people, and only 2 of them out of all of them were impaired in any way. One of them was drunk and one was whacked out of his mind.
So I don't know if you guys heard that, but I want to reiterate that point. One of the things I said to Laura was, you know, I want you, as we're meeting today, to notice how many are impaired and how many aren't. And that's kind of what she's sharing with you.
But you know what, though? After just being out here for 1 day, I'm already feeling the toll on my body. I'm already exhausted. I almost fell asleep earlier at the library. And I can't imagine the people that do this for so long. I don't know how they do it. And I'm in shock. I have so much respect for everybody who does this. And I think everybody needs to come together and find something to do about it.
Well, I'm glad she said that. And we're at 4.5 minutes, so I'm going to cut you off. We'll do one more video tonight to update you on some other stuff in a minute.